Hello, and welcome to another Cozy Mystery Book Club interview. I am here with Anne R. Tan, who is a USA Today bestselling author. She writes the Raina Sun Mystery Series, the Lucy Fong Mystery Series, and the Cedar Wood Mystery Series. Her humorous cozy mysteries feature Chinese American amateur sleuths dealing with love, family, and life while solving murders. Her books feature diverse characters and relationships because everyone deserves to be an armchair detective. Thank you so much for being here, Anne.
Oh, good morning. Yeah, thanks for interviewing me.
Of course. So we have a couple different questions that I think will be fun. The first one that I had was, do any real life experiences or events end up in your books?
All the time. Like for example, I'm the cozy author of the month. So I think my book is Bombing. Sorry, I've written so many books, sometimes you forget the titles. It's Bombing Darlings and Death. That's the book of the month. And in here, there's actually a scene where Raina is eating a sandwich and she's biking, right? And she's thinking she's looking cool doing that, right? And then she falls and everything was flying everywhere. That actually happened to me while I was in college, except I did it in front of my entire class. We were off campus doing a site visit. And, I thought I was looking good because everybody had to walk back. And I was on my bike, only one hand on the handlebar, the other hand like digging in my back, trying to get something to eat, right? And of course, I was like on the edge of the walkway so that other people can pass. And I was like, even though I was digging, I was like, well, I gotta be careful if I fall off that lip. And sure enough, as soon as that thought hit my head, my bike fell off the lip, and it was literally a 2-inch drop.
Oh,
But my bike went one way. I went the opposite way. My shoe went off. My backpack went off. And then my sandwich went off. And I just literally like fell on the floor. And I was like thinking, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Right? I wasn't hurt. I was more embarrassed than anything else. And all these guys from my class were just running up to me. And of course, back then, 20 something years ago, it was really a tiny little thing, very cute. They're running up to me. They're like, picking out my shoe because they fell off my feet, right? Because you have those slip-on clogs type of shoes. So they're picking up my shoes, picking up my backpack, picking up my bike. And then the girls walk by and it's like, I'm like, oh, tell me right now. And so that is actually in my book. So yeah, so like I said, the good, bad, and the ugly, they all show up in my book in one form or another. Sometimes I had to sensationalize it a little bit, but that's because that's the Chinese in me. I just like to exaggerate things.
in writings too, like just makes it a little bit more fun. I know Zara Keene used my story of my cat deciding to throw a big thing of laundry detergent down my stairs because it was where he wanted to sit. And of course, by throwing it down the stairs, it broke going down the stairs. And you can't just like scrub laundry detergent because then it starts to suds. So I had to just like pick it up with my hands and put it in a bucket. So she was like, I'm going to use that in my book, Ambushed in the Alps, as like something that happens to like my villains that kind of gets them into trouble. Right. So you like kind of have to tweak the details, but it's so funny how like especially the most embarrassing or like frustrating things about our life make for really good storytelling.
Right. And then like some of the stuff that happens in your life in real life, you're like, that's gotta be fiction. And if you put in a story, nobody believes you.
You're like, but it happened. It really did.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So speaking of writing, are there like hard scenes for you to write in books?
There are actually in my Raina Sun series, so she's a lot younger, so she's in her early 20s.
Mhm.
So there are every moment in the book, I call it the low point, right? Where all the sleuth, they're like, I'm about to give up. I don't have the strength to keep going, right? So every one of my books have that low point. But in Raina's case, she's like me, where when she gets frustrated, she starts crying. Like some women have that, and it's like it's kind of more of a the more you cry, the more embarrassed you are kind of scenario. And so she has that personality trait, which I had when I was a lot younger. And so whenever I write those stories, that scene, I remember the details when I were her age. And I literally would start crying while I'm writing that scene. So all those scenes where Raina is really upset, I'm crying in those books while I'm writing those books. They're really hard to write.
Yeah. I mean, on one hand, right, I'm sure then you think your audience is also going to feel the same way. Like, if it's enough to make you cry. It's like that's good, but I do the same thing when I get mad. And then like you're frustrated, like because you're already upset and frustrated, and you're like, I'm not crying because I'm sad, I'm mad. But then the more
Yep.
I cry, the more angry I am that I'm crying. Oh my, because I had that once when we had like a minor car accident, and I was so frustrated. Like it was right before a big wedding that I was helping manage. I was trying to bring the like brother of the groom there for something, and like some teenager hit me, and I'm like, I'm just so frustrated. I'm not like crying because I'm scared or anything. I'm just like there's so much to do. Oh, so yeah, I can see that being hard, like bringing back especially memories of maybe when that happened to you when you were younger too. Oh my gosh, that is amazing though, to be able to like bring that to life in your characters.
Well,
um
then I try to like once I write the raw draft, I always try to tone it down a little bit because then it's just too much for the readers. I want them to feel it a little bit, but not too much. Because I don't want to remind them of that because I'm pretty sure a lot of women do that.
so that kind of brings me into then looking at like you have all these different mystery series. So do you feel like you're more similar to one of your protagonists than others, or do you think like they're all you and just different parts of you?
They're all me at different stages of my life. So Raina's in her 20s. So
Yeah.
those are the stages of my life when I was young. Lucy's in her 30s. So, that's my stage when I was in my 30s. And then my Cedar Woods series are in her 40s. So I'm in my mid 40s right now.
Oh my gosh. I love that. And I also love that like your readers can grow with your characters too, which is really fun. Um, so kind of going in a different direction. Obviously, we have lots of wonderful cozy mystery authors for this promotion, and there have been many in the past, and I'm sure there'll be many in the future. But if you could have dinner with any cozy mystery writer, who would it be? They could be living, dead.
I actually would love to have dinner with Lise Bowen. She writes the Royal Spinus series and the Molly Murphy series. I mean, I read all her books. I'm taking her classes whenever she offers them virtually online. I mean, and it's kind of embarrassing. Like whenever like I meet real life authors that I read, I try really hard to not to do the fangirl thing. Like I always go, keep it cool, Anne. You're an author now. You gotta be professional. We're all like peers. But inside, I'm just like, I've been reading you guys for 15 years.
Gosh, yeah. One of my favorite authors, who actually, in a roundabout way, got me involved in working with authors. Her name is Marie Lu.
Mhm.
So, before she was a writer, she did a lot of graphic design work and had done a book trailer for a series, which is how I found out about the series. And then I ended up loving that series, following the author, and that's the first author I worked for. And I remember like going and meeting Marie, and like she said something to me when we met, but in my head I was so like, oh my God, we are meeting. I still to this day have no idea what she said to me. I was just like trying to contain the joy. So I love that. Like, wouldn't it be wonderful that we could all have that meeting and be able to just like chat and see where they get their inspiration or what challenges they might have in writing. So, outside of writing, do you have any other creative hobbies?
I used to, but writing is like taking over my life. Just because I still have a day job. And so, and then I have my two kids. I'm very busy. And then I have a husband that's always constantly building things. Like, things that would work, he would tweak, and then things that are broken, he'll try to improve. So I don't know when things are working and when things are not. So when we were younger, I always had sawdust. I mean, no, in the house, with the babies crawling around the floor. I'll have like sawdust, nails. Like it was very stressful trying to keep them contained in an area. And so now at least he does it all that stuff outside, and he
Okay.
does beautiful work. I mean, like our chicken coop is what I call a chicken palace. There's the main coop. There's now the chicken tower with a 3D 360 view. There's the teenage lounge that he put together, and they're all connected by ramps and everything. So they beautiful work, like I said. But he's constantly doing that kind of stuff. We're always buying wood. He's always going, like, he just texted me, literally, I'm at Lowe's right now. I mean, like it was in our marriage vow. I will not take Anne to Lowe's and Home Depot on the same weekend. Because on the same day.
Same weekend. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe same
Oh,
week. Oh my gosh.
sorry. That's my husband's hobbies. Back to my hobbies. Now I like cooking. I actually like playing video games with my kids. So we play on the Nintendo Switch a lot. I do the Just Dance with them a lot because I want them to move, and then and then they're always so surprised, like, oh, you know, they didn't come up right out and say it, but basically, how can an older out of shape woman be asking scenario, right? And I'm like, girl, mommy's been exercising to like workout TV, videos, Jane Fonda, all that stuff back way back. I can follow instructions. I don't look good, but I can follow instructions.
You ever do like DDR, Dance Dance Revolution with the
Yep,
arrows?
I did all that too. Yep, when I
Yep.
was younger.
Oh my gosh. I love video games. They're so fun. Do you ever do any like unplugged games, like board games, card games?
Yes, we do. So like my kids and I, we love playing Clue Junior, Monopoly Junior, Life. So I have a whole rack of board games as well, and then we have like the video games. So every weekend it's kind of like game night. So it could be a video game or it could be board games. It just kind of depends.
I love it. There's actually it's kind of like a card game. It comes in a little box, but it's called There's Been a Murder.
Mm.
Check that one out. It might be fun, but it's like each card is a character and the characters do different things. And it's up to you as a group to figure out not like who the murderer is, but to make sure you get the murderer in the same hand as the detective to solve the case. So it's not like one person's a murderer and you're trying to figure it out, but it's like you're all working together to be like, if I have it in my hand, I need to make sure I get it in with the detective. And then there's also like lose conditions, like I think it's like the witness ends up with the murderer, then he gets away with it type situation. But that might be fun to check out. But oh my God, chickens though, like
Oh
that's
yeah,
fun.
I have like 20 chickens.
Funny. Oh my God. Uh, do you ever like put your chickens into your books?
Oh yeah. So Lucy, my Lucy series, there we introduced the chicken in book two. Basically, the victim has a chicken in his backpack, and he stumbles out of this vacant shop next to her PI office, and he just kind of like drops dead on whatever. And then so she ended up with his chicken. And it's further in the book we found out it's his therapy chicken. And people that don't have chicken don't understand this, but like if you have them when they're really small
Yeah.
and you handle them a lot, they do become like therapy chickens because they're very calm, and then they literally would sit on your lap while you pet
Oh, that's so precious. Do you have like a favorite chicken who's like that for you, or?
them. No, because there's so many of them now. It's kind of like when you have kids and you have too many kids, you're just like, I can't keep track of you guys. We're an eight tag.
I know, I'm like, I got my two cats, and I'm like, and even them, they're like, they'll get jealous sometimes of each other. So I can't even imagine having 20 chickens to try to like be friends with all of them. Oh my gosh. Do you have any other pets besides your chickens?
No, that's it. Just my chickens.
I mean, 20 chickens is probably plenty.
No, and then I do all this gardening. My husband's building the garden bed for me. Like my goal is to try to get to like 30% or 50% of our veggies come from my garden. So we're kind of like, so he's building beds. I'm constantly planting things, experimenting. So like this time of year, I literally go, hey, I'm gonna go pick a salad. I just go in my backyard and I pick a salad.
Uh,
Or we're doing like hot pot or whenever, like we're like, oh, we need some veggies, and I'll just go in the backyard and I'll pick some veggies.
okay, so this is totally like just for me to know because I love doing hot pot. What are your
Mhm.
favorite veggies in hot pot?
I actually like Napa cabbage.
Okay.
What about you?
We usually will get bok choy
Okay,
and then
I like bok choy too.
really loves tomato.
Hmm.
Um, I don't, but I'm like, I'm glad you do, so I always make sure we get that. But then I'm kind of like, we'll do like pepper, so green pepper, yellow pepper, orange pepper. But like one is like trying to find other colors of vegetables. I'm like, most of the vegetables I like are like broccoli and the bok choy, and they're all green.
Hmm.
Um, I think also like peas, like the different kinds of like snow peas or sugar snap peas.
Hmm.
Also, like, I'm like, what else could I put in here that's not green?
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I'm like having the veggie garden, because then because when you go and buy it from the store, you always end up with a big bunch of them, right? And then so you're like, okay, I got to finish this up. Whereas with me growing, they all come in at different times of, come in, time for harvest. So when it comes to hot pot, I go, oh look, I could pick a handful of peas here. I could pick one cabbage here. So I get a variety, and then I get my variety of veggies to eat.
I love it. Well, I'm kind of a black thumb when it comes to gardening, or keeping any plants alive, but I love fresh veggies. So like I wish I had that skill. So that's kind of a fun other question. In your books, do you have any character that has a skill that you wish you had, but you're just not good at it at all?
That's a really good question. I would say it's a skill, but I would say I wish I have a personality, which is the grandma character in my Reina Sun series. We call her Popo. So that's Chinese for maternal grandmother, or a word that you use as a sign of respect for an elderly woman that's in the grandmother age range. So we call her Popo. And she has this really fun way of looking at life, where she just say whatever she wants, does whatever she wants, and of course she's filthy rich, and so all her grandkids just really love her, and she has a learning open mindset. So it's like she took a class at the senior center for computer skills, and now she's hiring computer hackers, to do stuff for her. And I just wish I had that, because I can't do that. I'm like a very law abiding citizen. Like you tell me like to do whatever, and I'm like, okay, I'll follow the rules. I'm a rule follower. And
Yep.
Popo is like a rule breaker. And I just wish I could have a little bit of that, because I feel like that would make life a little bit more fun.
Oh my gosh. I'm the same way though. Like I love like following the rules.
Mhm.
Um, and then one of my like newer friends, not like she's like a total rule breaker, but is way more like, oh, I'll just ask for things or I'll go do things. And I'm just like, oh, I would never. Oh, all right. So the only other question I have for you is, can you give us a hint about your next book or next books? Because I know you have a lot of series.
Yeah, so the book I'm currently working on is Bag the Body, which is book 2 of the Reina Sun series. In this book, Cedar finds out she has a long lost 13-year-old niece. That's her brother's daughter that he didn't know about. Um, at least I think she's 13. I'm not quite sure the age. It's 12 or 13. I gotta go back and look at my notes. Um, and then of course she is the link to the Reina Sun series. So she brings Popo into the Cedar Woods series. And there's a lot about her that the readers will find out later on in the books. But in the series, she is meeting, Cedar for the first time, and then Popo kind of, I'm gonna go and do my own thing. You girls talk, and then she comes back in and go, we need to leave right now. And then Cedar's like, what? We need to leave right now. And of course, because Popo always does something. And then sure enough, the staff comes running out to the front of the lobby going, somebody call the plumber or the police. And then Paul's like, let's go. Right. And then they go back upstairs to the hotel room. And then they find out that Willow's, that's Denise, luggage is missing. And Cedar doesn't know this, but Willow's luggage has about like $20,000 worth of shoes in there. And yes, I know that face, right? I never knew tennis shoes can be that expensive. When I went to Boston a few months ago, I actually met another mom, and she was telling me about the sneaker game and sneakerheads and SneakerCon. Didn't even know that existed, right? And then the more I dig into it, I was just like, man, this is very interesting. So Willow is a sneakerhead, and she's gonna have these really expensive shoes, and she will bring that I guess culture into my books. And then as we go further along into the series, eventually Cedar figures out, hey, these are not just your average Nikes, because that's what she thought at first, right? And she's like,
shoes.
yeah. And then she's like, how does this girl have the money to buy these shoes? Right?
Yeah, especially someone who's like not really of that like working age.
And that'll come out later on in the series. That's why I said Willow is going to be a very interesting character to bring into the series.
I love that. And I love that you're just like, I heard of something interesting, so we're going to put it in a book. Well, thank you so much, Anne, for chatting with me. I hope everyone will check out your book of the month. You want to hold it up and show everyone again?
Sure. So this is the book of the month. This is the one where you get the story about my flying off my bike with my sandwich. That's in here. And this one is my new release for this month. Actually, I just released it this month, and towards the end there's going to be a surprise ending. So far everybody's like, I'm really surprised. Like for me, I thought it's very obvious, but everybody's like, I'm really surprised. So that's this book right here, Arrest the Alibi.
All right. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys in the next interview.
Thank you, Kay. Bye.